And before I get started, none of these tips are going to include you must get ready for the day, put on that full face of makeup, otherwise you can't be productive. These are my true tips for working from home and how to love it. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to share with you my top 5 tips for working from home. I have been working from home for around 2.5 years now. I love it. I work with my husband, Blake, and these are the things that have really helped me and helped me really enjoy working from home. I hope these tips are things you haven't heard before, and I hope will encourage you to love working from home, no matter whether that be by choice or because you have to work from home right now. These will just be things that can help motivate you throughout the day and really help you thrive while working from home. So here we go. So my first tip is to have both a work to do and a personal to do. The thing with working from home is that there's no leaving. That is working from home, right? But the thing with that is you don't get to leave for work and come back from work. So there's really no time to separate things. And that is one of the biggest keys from working from home. You want to be able to have time that is dedicated to work and dedicated to personal. And for me, having a to-do list that has some personal things really helped me separate that. So I put things as little as, go on a walk, take a shower, unload the dishwasher. Maybe I want to try out a new recipe. So, print out that new recipe you want to try out, ordering your groceries, just little things that will help you feel productive during the day or make you happy. I think all these things are really important to put on a personal to-do list. This also really helps you if, say work isn't going very well for you that day, that you still have things that you're able to get done that can make you feel encouraged to keep going. And alternatively, if the things on your personal list you're just not feeling very good about, you can go back to your work list and be like, hey, I really killed it today at work. For those non-list people, I know they're out there because Blake is this way. Lists and to-do lists are not his thing, but I still think that this tip is for you because even if it's just, hey, I'd like to do this one thing outside of work today, I think that really encourages him. If he's like, hey, I really want to be able to go outside and maybe work in the yard a little bit, I feel like that does help him with separating his work and his personal. So I'd encourage you to still, even if you're not a list person, just think of a couple things that you want to do personally for yourself during the day that isn't work so that you can separate work from personal time. My second tip is to make a morning routine and do it right away. And part of that is that it doesn't have to be a perfect morning routine, but just setting one and letting it change is really important. When we first started working from home, I had a very different idea of what maybe that morning routine should look like. And we've changed it a lot. And it looks very different today than it did 2.5 years ago. And that's totally okay. And I think that that's something that I've really had to learn. So for me, my natural instinct right away is to wake up, just get right to work, like look at my email, go through them and just get started. And I found that that's actually not the best thing for me. I've actually found that I need to push against that. And so right now, just to give a little insight, my morning routine now starts by waking up, make that nice cup of coffee, sit down, and I read. I read a couple chapters of a book I'm enjoying. I read a couple chapters of the Bible, and I make sure not to look at my phone during that time. That has been really helpful for me, and that's something that I've implemented this year, and it's really made a big difference. Then, and only then, do I look at my phone, maybe go through my emails, delete all the spam mail, and that's really helped start my day on the right track. So I encourage you to make a morning routine. Just start, do something and say, hey, this is my morning routine and I'm gonna try this a few days, and then tweak. See what feels right, think of things you might want to incorporate or do differently for the next week, and go from there. But having a morning routine is very important. Again, it's separating your personal from your work, and that is kind of that main thing for me that's really been beneficial. And my third tip for you is to plan out your meals. It's okay if you're not a breakfast person, but in this tip, I would say to plan out lunch and dinner. Even if that's just as simple as jotting down, hey, I'm having a sandwich at lunch and I'm gonna make XYZ at dinner. This really helps me. Again, it helps you separate your time that is work from personal. Can you see a theme here? I think it just helps you look forward to the end of the day, to what you're going to be making. It helps you even just be creative and think like, hey, I want to try this new recipe tonight, or this is what I've got. You know, there's been so many times where I have a really stressful day at work, and it really helps just being like, hey, I'm having my favorite meal tonight and I know exactly what that is and I have all the things for it. Or maybe you need to go grab a few things. Even then, it's like, I know what I'm doing, and that's kind of exciting. It's the little wins. So I'd encourage you to try this one out. Try planning out your lunch and your dinner and see how that makes you feel. My fourth tip for you is to break up your day with at least one activity. So that might be as simple as taking a walk around the block, maybe go outside and work in the yard, take a bike ride, just anything really. I think breaking up your day is really helpful to kind of just give yourself a refresh. When you're working from home, it's not as easy as, you know, hey, I'm gonna go out to lunch, or I'm gonna go grab a coffee, get out of the office. It's just as important to do that same thing at home. And I think it's easy to just bypass that. But getting out of your house at least once a day, and if it's as simple as going on a walk around the block, is really gonna help kind of just clear your mind, give you maybe an extra boost to like finish out the rest of the day strong, and just help you feel refreshed and energized rather than just drained at the end of the day. And I think that's really helped me. We always take a walk in the morning. And sometimes it's even as like, hey, let's take another walk, or let's go work in the yard. And that always helps round out my day a lot better. So I'd really encourage you to try doing this. And my fifth tip for you today is to change it up. It's really important to have a designated workspace. I think that that's a very common tip, is to kind of set up a home office, even if that's set up your home office on the kitchen table or just have a designated workspace. I think that's a very common thing that people share. But something that's really helped me is to not just say that's the only place I can work. Yeah, I work most of the time at a desk, but you know, sitting on the couch for a couple hours really changes it up and kind of just is like, hey, this is a new part of your day and helps me be really productive. So whether that be, you know, I'm gonna work part of the day at the desk and maybe part of the day on the couch, or I'm gonna work part of the day on the couch and part of the day at the kitchen table. Just switch it up and don't be afraid to try things out, because you might just feel way better. And I think that that's something that people are not always willing to do. Like, hey, I should always be working at the desk because I just feel like I should do that. And that might not be your most productive spot. So I'd encourage you to try switching it up, try a different spot and see how you feel. And worst case scenario, you can just go back to working at your desk 100% of the time. But best case scenario is you might be even more productive and feel even better about what you're doing. So those are my top 5 tips. I hope they were helpful to you. I hope that you maybe learned something new and that you can try maybe 1 or 2 of these out, maybe even all 5. And let me know down below how working at home has been going for you. I know a lot of people are working from home right now and it is way different. Some of you may love it and some of you may hate it. And I hope that these tips will help both of you. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Bye.